What if the moment someone tries to destroy you with their words is actually the exact moment your greatest power is waiting to be born? What if the anger rising inside your chest right now is not a weakness, but a fire that, if you learn to control it, will transform you into someone completely unbreakable? Most people think that when someone provokes them, they must fight back. They must defend. They must win the argument. But what if I told you that the person who says nothing wins everything? What if one single sentence, just a few words, spoken in complete calm, could silence your enemy, protect your dignity, and reveal a level of mastery that most human beings will never achieve in their entire lifetime? What if you are only seconds away from learning the one response that the greatest minds in history used when the world tried to break them? Stay with me until the very end of this, because what you are about to hear will not just change how you respond to people who provoke you, it will change the entire way you see yourself. What if the most powerful thing you could ever say to a person who is trying to destroy you is almost nothing at all? Sit with that for a moment. Let it settle into your mind, because what I am about to share with you today is not a trick. It is not a technique you memorize and perform. It is something far deeper. It is a truth that lives at the very core of who you are, and most of you have never been taught to access it. Every single day, you encounter people who want to disturb your peace. They say something sharp. They throw words at you like weapons. They watch your face carefully, waiting, hoping for the moment you crack, for the moment you raise your voice, for the moment you lose control, because the second you lose control, they have won. Not because they are stronger than you, but because you gave them something they could never take on their own, your power. Think about water for a moment. Water does not fight the rock that stands in its path. It does not argue with the rock. It does not scream at the rock. It does not try to prove to the rock that it deserves to flow freely. Water simply moves, quietly, patiently, consistently, and over time, years, decades, centuries, the rock breaks, the water remains. This is what it means to be truly unshakable. The human mind is a magnificent instrument, but like all instruments, it must be tuned. And the moment someone provokes you, they are testing the tuning of your instrument. They are pressing a key and listening. Will it produce harmony or noise? Will it produce wisdom or chaos? Will it produce power or weakness? Most people produce noise because most people have never learned the art of inner stillness. They mistake reaction for strength. They confuse loudness with power. They believe that defending themselves with anger means they are standing for something, but in truth, they are falling every time. Now let me ask you something, and I want you to answer it honestly inside your own mind. How many times have you said something in anger that you later regretted? How many relationships have broken because of words spoken in a moment of rage? How many opportunities have been lost because someone pressed exactly the right button and you responded exactly the wrong way? Every one of those moments was a test. And the pain you feel looking back at them, that pain is your teacher. Because here is what nobody tells you about provocation. The person provoking you is not your enemy. The real enemy is the untrained part of your mind that responds without thinking. The real enemy is the version of you that gives away your power the moment someone threatens your ego. The provocateur is simply holding a mirror up to your face, and what you see in that mirror, whether you like it or not, is exactly the work that remains to be done inside yourself. This is a shocking truth, and I know it may not feel comfortable to hear, but the greatest growth in your life will never come from your comfortable moments. It will come from exactly these moments, the moments when someone is standing in front of you, trying to set you on fire, and you are learning how to become fireproof. So what do you actually say? What are the words that carry this power? You look at this person who is attempting to provoke you, you breathe, not quickly, slowly, one breath that reaches deep into your belly and travels all the way back out. And in that single breath, something extraordinary happens. The emotional storm inside you begins to slow. Your mind shifts from reacting to observing. You step out of the chaos and into the eye of it, where everything is still. And then, calmly, without aggression, without sarcasm, without heat, you say this: "Thank you for showing me that. That is it. Nothing more. Nothing dramatic. Now I know what some of you are thinking. You are thinking, that is too simple. That cannot be enough. How does that response carry any power?" Let me explain to you exactly why those 5 words are devastating in the most powerful way possible. When you say, "Thank you for showing me that," you do several extraordinary things simultaneously. First, you refuse to be wounded. You take whatever arrow they shot at you and you hold it up in the light and you say, "This is information, not a weapon, information about them, about what they believe, about where their pain lives," and you receive it with gratitude rather than with rage. Second, you rob them of their victory. A provocateur needs your reaction like a fire needs oxygen. When you remove the oxygen, the fire dies. Your calm response is the most suffocating thing you can offer them. They came expecting an explosion. Instead, they receive stillness. And stillness, in that moment, is thunderous. Third, and this is the part that will shake you, you actually mean it. Because that person truly did show you something. They showed you exactly what you are made of. They gave you the chance to practice your mastery, to test your cultivation, to demonstrate to yourself and to everyone watching what lives inside you when the pressure becomes real. This is not weakness. This is the highest form of strength a human being can demonstrate. Consider for a moment what happens inside the mind of the person who tried to provoke you. They expected fire. They prepared for fire. Their entire strategy was built around your fire. When you give them water instead, when you give them stillness and gratitude, their strategy collapses completely. They are left standing there with a weapon that has no target. And slowly, quietly, they begin to feel something they did not expect to feel in this moment. Shame. Not because you shamed them, but because your response made them see themselves clearly. Your calm became their mirror. And nobody is more disturbed by their own reflection than a person who has spent years refusing to look at it. Now understand this. Choosing this response does not mean you are accepting abuse. It does not mean you are surrendering your boundaries. A boundary is not built from anger. A boundary is built from clarity. And the clearest boundaries are always held by the calmest people. When you respond without emotion, your boundary is actually stronger, not weaker, because it is not shaking. It cannot be negotiated with. It cannot be escalated through. It simply stands like a mountain, unmoved. The mountain does not argue with the storm. It does not chase the wind. It does not beg the rain to stop. It simply remains, and every storm eventually passes. But the mountain is still there. This is what you must become, not someone who wins every argument, but someone who cannot be moved by one. There is a level of inner mastery that most human beings never reach, not because they are incapable of it, but because the world teaches them the opposite. The world teaches you to shout louder, to hit harder, to never back down, to never show softness, to protect your ego at all costs. But your ego is not you. Your ego is the costume your fear wears when it wants to look powerful. And when you strip away that costume, when you stand in front of someone trying to burn you, and you simply breathe and say, "Thank you for showing me that," you have stepped out of ego completely. And what remains when ego is gone is something extraordinary. What remains is the real you. The you that cannot be threatened. The you that does not need validation from anyone. The you that understands deeply, fully, unshakably that your worth is not determined by how others treat you. It is determined by how you choose to respond. Every great person in history who faced persecution, Criticism, ridicule, and provocation, they all had this in common. They did not let the noise outside disturb the silence inside. And that inner silence, that sacred stillness, became the foundation from which everything great in their lives was built. This is available to you, right now, today. Not after years of practice, not after reaching some perfect state of enlightenment. Right now, in your most imperfect and human condition, you have access to this power because it was always already inside you. The next time someone tries to provoke you, and they will pause before you speak, take that breath. Look at them not as an enemy, but as a teacher arriving in an uncomfortable disguise. And then, from the most grounded place inside yourself, offer them those 5 words. Thank you for showing me that. Watch what happens. Not just to them, but to you. Watch how differently you feel when you walk away from that moment having chosen mastery over reaction. Watch how your own self-respect deepens. Watch how your energy is preserved rather than wasted. Watch how your mind stays clear and sharp rather than clouded with regret. This is the practice, not perfect, never perfect, but consistent. Every single day, choosing your response rather than surrendering to your reaction, building yourself, breath by breath, into someone who cannot be rattled by the storms of other people's emotions, because at the end of the day, nobody can steal your peace. They can only be given it, and you, starting from this very moment, are choosing to keep it. The words, "Thank you for showing me that," are not just a sentence. They are a declaration that you are no longer available to be a victim of other people's chaos, that you understand who you are deeply enough that no word, no insult, no provocation can reach the core of you and damage it. Silence is not defeat, calmness is not cowardice. Choosing peace in the face of provocation is not weakness. It is the highest, most difficult, most rare form of strength a human being can embody. And now, you know how to access it. Carry this with you. Practice it. Fail at it sometimes, because you will. And then practice it again. Each attempt makes you stronger. Each moment of chosen stillness adds another layer of unbreakable inner armor. And slowly, beautifully, powerfully, you will become the person the world cannot shake.